Welcome to Latest Movie Stories, a place where the movie plot is thoroughly discussed in an exciting, dense, and addictive style. Didn't have time to watch the movie? Don't worry, bro. Come sit tight. Because we will bring the story for you, complete from beginning to end, without going around in circles. Let's just go straight to the main story, because this is it. The complete plot of the movie, Venom 2002-4. So the story begins with Knull, the god of darkness who once created symbiotes to rule the universe. But there is always betrayal, right? When the forces of light attacked, the symbiotes turned against Knull and imprisoned him in the eternal prison, Klintar. Despite his body being trapped, Knull could still sense that there was a symbiote out there that had activated a codec in his body. This codec was the key to freeing Knull from his eternal prison. With that hope, Knull sends a symbiote-killing monster named Xenovage to explore the universe and search for the symbiote that has the codec. On Earth, a new adventure begins.
I order you to search the...
In the previous film, Eddie Brock, who was possessed by Venom, accidentally got sucked into Tom Holland's Spider-Man universe. This was all because Spider-Man opened a multiverse portal, which was then closed again. After the portal was closed, Eddie returned to his original universe, but an annoyed Venom couldn't keep quiet. He immediately became angry and started taking drinks from the bar, causing chaos. The bartender who was working was really shocked when he saw black tentacles coming out of Eddie's body.
What the hell were those things?
Killer! I'm having... Killer!
I did it.
Confused, Eddie suddenly sees a television broadcast reporting that he has been named a suspect in the murder of a police officer named Mulligan in the city cathedral. After realizing that they can't go back to San Francisco, Eddie and Venom start thinking. Eddie sees a mini Statue of Liberty and immediately remembers that he knows someone in New York who might be able to help. Venom, who also really wants to see the Statue of Liberty, immediately agrees to go there. However, when the two of them leave, Venom accidentally leaves a symbiote droplet in the bar.
Keep the change!
What the...
On the way, Eddie hears the sound of dogs in pain. Curious, he follows the sound and enters the room, where he finds dogs in cages, clearly prepared for a fight. Suddenly, several gangsters come and tell Eddie to leave. But Eddie, who is not afraid, instead tells the gangsters to free the dogs.
This is our territory.
Okay, just pay attention. We're gonna find all of these dogs.
We can't let you leave.
The gangsters did not accept it, and immediately brandished their weapons. However, Venom, who could no longer keep quiet, immediately appeared and showed his true form. Quickly, he freed the dogs while defeating the gangsters one by one. Venom did not even hesitate to eat the heads of the defeated gangsters.
We're Venom!
Eddie leaves the place, but shortly after, Xenovage, who is tracking the codec, appears from behind and detects the symbiote droplets left behind in the bar.
Did do. And I got stuck with the superhero who can't.
Rex, who leads the military forces, also takes samples of the symbiote droplets left by Venom. Rex takes the symbiote sample and the bartender to a military base for interrogation in the Nevada desert. There, the troops also brought a chest containing Mulligan, who turned out to be still alive. In the morning, a scientist named Dr. Payne goes to work in the Nevada desert, where a military base is hidden behind a cliff. Rex, who is ready for his mission, is activating an acid sprayer to destroy secret equipment in Area 51, because next week the government will close Area 51 permanently.
You're nothing left but rock and dust.
Payne and Rex enter a new secret military base, called Area 55. Although Payne's left hand is disabled, he remains the leader of the scientists at the base. Here, they research symbiotes. Rex's job is to capture the symbiotes, while Payne will do the research. The players who were checking the report were shocked to learn that Mulligan managed to survive thanks to being possessed by the symbiote.
We saved him. He would have died.
Rex then handed the sample of the black symbiote he took from the bar last night to a scientist named SY, then placed it on the table for further examination. Rex feels happy because finally Area 51 will be closed, which means they can focus on working at a more hidden new headquarters, Area 55, without tourist interference. Payne and Rex then met Mulligan, who had now regained consciousness. Payne was very excited because this was the first time he had seen Symbiote who was at home in his host's body during that time. But Mulligan began to move in a strange way, and Payne realized that Mulligan's body was now controlled by Symbiote. Payne also asked about the purpose of the symbiotes to come to Earth, and Mulligan answered that they were hiding from very evil darkness. If the darkness managed to get what he wanted, then the whole universe would be destroyed.
Broken too. And where we are, he will kill us all. What do they want? Safe haven. The darkness.
Elsewhere, Eddie was hanging next to the flying plane. Suddenly, he turned into Venom. Meanwhile, Xenovage in different locations detects the existence of the Codex. Xenovage immediately jumped to the plane where Venom was. Once Venom saw Xenovage coming, he was immediately scared and struggled trying to lure Xenovage until finally sucked into the aircraft engine and crushed.
What was that?
After Xenovage was destroyed, Venom was forced to return to Eddie's body. Therefore, Eddie immediately fell and hovering in the air. Luckily, Venom quickly issued a parachute to save Eddie and helped him land safely. On the streets, Xenovage's body that was destroyed suddenly reunited and lived. Eddie, who was confused, immediately asked Venom what creature was just now. Venom also explained that it was Xenovage, a symbiote hunting monster sent by the creator of Symbiote, Knull. In the past, the symbiotes betrayed Knull and imprisoned him in the Abadi Klintar prison.
No, I can absolutely guarantee.
Knull will definitely send Xenovage to all corners of the universe to find the Codex in Eddie's body.
Of course.
Eddie, who was still confused, asked, "What is Codex?"
What the hell is a codex?
Venom explained that the Codex appeared when the symbiote revived the host that was dead. Codex is a symbol of the union of life between the symbiote and the host, and the Codex can also be the key to freeing the Knull, which is currently imprisoned. Venom reminded Eddie about the first time to meet, where Venom had a chance to turn on Eddie, who was almost dead. That means the two of them now have a Codex that has been sought by Knull.
Right. You mean you can't come out?
Venom then added that Xenovage could only detect the presence of Codex if Venom appeared in perfect form. However, if only tentacles or Venom heads that appear as they are now, Xenovage will not be able to detect them. Eddie then asked how to get rid of the Codex, and Venom answered seriously that there was only one way to destroy the Codex. One of the two of them had to die. Eddie was surprised, but then saw a horse near them.
4 legs are better than 1.
Venom also got a brilliant idea, possessed the horse, and made him a Venom horse. With extraordinary speed, they both darted away from the place. In Area 55, Rex began to doubt what Mulligan said about the hiding symbiote. He was suspicious that this symbiote was actually an evil creature who was planning something.
Don't kid yourself. They were always migrating.
Rex received a report on the appearance of Symbiote on a plane and immediately led his troops to the scene.
We'll take the osprey.
Meanwhile, Venom and Eddie were resting, and suddenly from behind, a helicopter carrying Rex and his men approached. They fired a strong ultrasonic wave, causing Eddie to fall into the river. Venom came out of the horse's body and immediately tried to chase Eddie to help him. However, Rex's troops were already there. A soldier managed to corner Eddie and tried to shoot him. Quickly, Eddie turned around and shot the soldier to death. Some other soldiers tried to catch Eddie again, and saw Eddie almost fell into the waterfall. Venom immediately entered Eddie's body, turned into a perfect form to save him.
No, the Codex!
However, this action actually provoked the arrival of Xenovage, who immediately darted towards them. Once Xenovage appeared, Venom hid again, lost track. Xenovage continued its mission by slaughtering the Rex troops there. From inside the helicopter, Rex was surprised to see the appearance of Xenovage raging.
Morph!
Copy.
Rex immediately reported this situation to Dr. Payne in the middle of the forest, which immediately becomes more alert. Meanwhile, Eddie panicked because he realized that the one who was chasing him was not only Xenovage, but also a special forces who tried to catch him in Area 55. At the headquarters, Payne returned to meet Mulligan, who is now the green symbiote in his body coming out and showing its original form. The green symbiote informs that the monsters who are targeting the symbiotes have now appeared. He then explained more about Knull, who was looking for Codex to free himself from prison. Green symbiote feels that one of the black symbiotes, namely Venom, has a Codex that is highly sought after by Knull. If Knull manages to get the Codex, then he will be free, and the universe will be filled with darkness. Rex, who is increasingly obsessed, immediately asks how to destroy the Codex. Green symbiote answered strongly that the only way to destroy the Codex is to kill the Venom or the host. Hearing this, Rex is determined to kill Venom, but Payne is against the idea. He wants to research Venom further, but Rex doesn't care and still intends to take revenge for the deaths of his men. Meanwhile, in the woods, an exhausted Eddie meets Martin Moon and his family who are camping. Since Eddie looks hungry, Martin gives him some food.
Echo and Leaf.
A lifetime in therapy.
Don't. Huh?
Martin then asks where Eddie is going, and Eddie replies that he is headed to New York. Martin, who is very interested in conspiracy theories, tells him that he and his family are planning to go to Area 51, which is about to be closed. Martin is very curious about whether there are really aliens in Area 51, and offers Eddie a ride to Las Vegas.
New York.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right.
That evening, Eddie and Martin's family started to leave for Las Vegas. Long story short, when they arrived there, Eddie thanked Martin for driving him this far.
Be safe.
Unbeknownst to him, CCTV cameras in the city detect Eddie's face and immediately send the data to the military surveillance system. Eddie panics. He only has $20 left, and that's definitely not enough to get him to New York. But as usual, Venom has a crazy idea. He invites Eddie to go to a casino to gamble. At first, Eddie refuses, but when he has no other choice, he agrees. Unfortunately, Eddie was immediately thrown out by the casino staff because of his shabby appearance. Not running out of ideas, Eddie approached a drunk man who was peeing carelessly. After beating him unconscious, Eddie stole his clothes and managed to get into the casino with a new look. As soon as he entered, Venom immediately told Eddie to bet all his money. But instead of winning, Eddie lost everything. No money left. While he was in despair, Eddie saw someone win big on a slot machine. It turned out to be Miss Chen. She was so happy to meet Eddie and immediately treated him to a meal because he had just won big.
Hey.
I always look hot.
Yeah.
Is a big guy in there?
Let's dance, baby.
No.
Meanwhile, elsewhere, Rex gets a report from his men that Eddie was seen at a casino in Las Vegas. He immediately contacts the leader of the Symbiote project and asks for permission to kill Venom or his host at that location.
You have time requesting control of the Imperium program.
Back inside the casino, Miss Chen asks Venom to dance. Eddie strongly forbids it, but Venom, who apparently still has old chemistry with Miss Chen, is stubborn. Eventually, he comes out in his true form and dances stylishly with Miss Chen. That moment immediately provokes Xenovage, who is outside, to detect the presence of the Codex.
Unsee that. I cannot unsee that.
However, before Xenovage could enter, Venom quickly hides back in Eddie's body, confusing Xenovage and eventually leaving.
Wow, so ugly.
But before Eddie could breathe a sigh of relief, a helicopter suddenly landed. Rex's men descended and immediately fired ultrasonic waves. The attack forced Venom out of Eddie's body, and in a matter of seconds, the two were captured. Venom and Eddie, who have been captured, are taken to Area 55, a secret base for symbiote scientists. But unbeknownst to them, Xenovage has also infiltrated the base through the back. Meanwhile, Martin and his family finally arrive at Area 51, which is about to be permanently closed. Due to his high curiosity about aliens and conspiracy theories, Martin takes his family up the tower to see the surrounding area more clearly.
Go. I smell alien.
Back at Area 55 headquarters, Dr. Payne tells his assistant scientist to keep the Venom symbiote in a container. But after Payne leaves, Seedy starts hearing strange sounds. It turns out to be Venom whispering in his head. In another room, Eddie, who has regained consciousness, sees Mulligan in the next room. The symbiote in Mulligan's body appears and says firmly, "Do not let Knull get the Codex no matter what."
Eddie. No.
Soon, Payne and his assistant came to check on Eddie. But the situation got even more chaotic when Rex appeared. He immediately pointed a gun at Eddie. His motivation is clear. Besides wanting to destroy the code, he also has a grudge because many of his men were killed. But before the bullet was fired, Seedy, Payne's assistant, suddenly transformed into Venom. It turned out that Venom had secretly possessed Seedy's body to avoid Xenovage. After saving Eddie, Venom immediately re-entered his body and healed the gunshot wound. Suddenly, boom! The Xenophage arrives and goes on a brutal rampage. The symbiote in Mulligan's body tries to stop it, but the Xenovage easily eats it.
Venom, run!
With Venom hiding again, Xenovage loses track of the Codex. But instead of retreating, he goes crazy, slaughtering all the troops in the base. The remaining symbiotes immediately take the initiative. They possess 2 officers and transform to attack Xenovage. A super brutal fight ensues. The other 2 symbiotes helped and combined into a stronger fighting form. But unfortunately, Xenovage was still too strong. He managed to kill one of the symbiotes. Another symbiote then possesses Seedy's body, joining the fight and helping the other teams. Amidst the chaos, Venom breaks through the wall, taking the scientists to escape the hellish base.
Whoa! What was that? It's all right, kids.
Meanwhile, Dr. Payne secretly takes a sample of the intact symbiote and escapes. For the rest of the battle, the symbiotes desperately try to hold off the increasingly savage Xenovage. As the battle heats up, Eddie sees Martin and his family on top of the Area 51 watchtower that is starting to shake. Without thinking, Eddie immediately jumps into the tower to save them. Down below, Rex suddenly fires a bazooka, just as several symbiotes are fighting the Xenovage. A huge explosion occurs. Several symbiotes are killed on the spot, and the tower collapsed completely. But luckily, Eddie and the 2 symbiotes managed to save Martin and his family before everything collapsed. Seedy was furious. Rex had fired the bazooka indiscriminately, even though the symbiotes were helping humans, not posing a threat. But before it could subside, Xenovage rose again, even more brutal. Dr. Payne came by car and immediately hit Xenovage, then invited Martin and his family to flee the location. But amidst all the chaos, Xenovage is sending a signal into space, reporting to Knull that he has discovered the Codex on Earth. Knull responds by sending another Xenovage force to Earth. The invasion is on. Moments later, Eddie and the others see 2 additional Xenovages land on Earth. Things are getting crazy. Seedy then transformed into a symbiote and immediately attacked the 2 Xenovages. Eddie saw a motorcycle lying around. A brilliant idea immediately came to him. He got on the motorcycle, transformed into Venom, and lured the 2 Xenovages to chase him towards a pile of bombs. The officer fired at the bomb. Boom! Huge explosion. But it was to no avail. Xenovage was still alive and growing more ferocious. As Rex charges forward to shoot the Xenovage blindly, he is impaled by a deadly tentacle. Eddie and Seedy come to the rescue of the dying Rex. Unfortunately, Xenovage managed to catch Eddie, who was exhausted and almost helpless. But from behind, Martin appeared with a gun and shot Xenovage in the head. A life-saving shot that made everyone breathe a sigh of relief, temporarily. Alas, Xenovage is still alive. Martin immediately runs away again. Elsewhere, Xenovage removes the symbiote from Seedy's body and eats him alive. The situation is getting darker, more dire, more merciless. After being battered by the Xenovage, Venom drags a dying Eddie to safety. But time is running out. Xenovages from all over the galaxy are arriving. The only way to destroy the Codex is to sacrifice himself. Venom realizes that he must become a martyr to prevent Knull from rising and destroying the universe. Eddie is clearly not willing, but Venom says, "This has to end now." Eddie falls silent, holding back tears. Venom comes out of hiding, screaming to lure the Xenovages closer. As the Codex-hungry creatures charge, Venom sucks them all into his body. Then he asks Rex for help. "Drop me some acid, now!" The living Rex immediately moved. Eddie was thrown out by Venom, the ultimate sacrifice of a true friend. Goodbye, Eddie.
No.
Time to go! Don't forget me either, Eddie.
Acid liquid poured down Venom's body. In the rest of his life, he covered Eddie with an iron door, protecting his friend from the heat of death. Rex activates the suicide grenade. Boom! A massive explosion rocks Area 55. Seedy is thrown to the ground. Payne, who sees this, becomes furious. He immediately destroys the symbiote sample in his hand and transforms into a new symbiote, Egoni. With his speed, Egoni jumps to save Seedy from the explosion. Not only that, Payne's paralyzed left hand is also completely healed. A few days later, Eddie wakes up in the hospital. A general looks at him and says, "All charges against you are dropped, but you must keep the symbiote and Area 51 a secret." Eddie just nods slowly. Now, he is free, but alone. Venom is gone. Eddie then continues his journey to New York, without a voice in his head, without a symbiote in his body. Only silence and loss. Meanwhile, far away in space, Knull, the Dark God, knew his mission had failed, but he laughed softly, then said, "This is just the beginning." After all the chaos has subsided, after the explosions, the sacrifices, and the tears, the camera slowly pans over the shattered remains of the laboratory in Area 55. In a dimly lit corner, a tube containing the remaining drops of the Venom symbiote is still dripping. Drip. Drip. And suddenly, a jet-black lizard slowly crawls near the tube. Its eyes glow red. Its tongue sticks out. It sniffs the drops. Zzzt! The lizard's body trembles, changes, mutates horribly. Its skin swells. Its body enlarges. And its eyes radiate a savage aura. Stay tuned for the continuation. Wow. Venom 2024 is really like riding a roller coaster while being chased by a hungry symbiote. From the brutal action, the heartbreaking sacrifice, to the mysterious ending of the lizard, all complete like padang rice with 2 rendang. But don't worry. If you're still curious, emotional, or even confused about why suddenly there's a lizard casting in the ending, it means you're a normal human being. Shh, shh, kiuk. The moral of the story: if you have a friend like Venom, appreciate him. If you don't have one, well, don't play around with strange black liquid from outer space. And remember, if the symbiote asks you to dance in a casino, just refuse. Like short and exciting storylines like this, don't just stay silent like Eddie when Rex held him up. Click subscribe now on the latest Movie Stories channel, so you don't miss all the cool movie stories, from the ones that make you laugh out loud to the ones that make your hair stand on end. I'll take my leave now. See you in the next movie story, which will definitely be more chaotic, dramatic, and cinematic. Bye-bye.